Whoa, buddy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
Get hands.
Friday.
This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on the Michael Dukes Show, which of course broadcasts live across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator, and around the world on the internet at michaeldukeshow.com, where you will find links to the audio-only podcast, audio-only stream to the podcast, which of course can be found on Spotify and Google Podcasts and iTunes and every place else. And of course, links to our social media sites for where we simulcast the radio show every day. We simulcast it right here on the interwebs on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So welcome to the program. Thank you for coming in and joining us. It is Friday, and this is kind of a really, I'm going to say it's a really relaxed Friday. We're just kind of hanging out, you and me, this morning. I don't have any guests, and so we're just gonna riff this morning about the Second Amendment and gun rights and what's going on across the country and everything else. It's going to be kind of one of those days where we just hang out. We also are opening up the phone lines this morning for what we like to call gun Q&A. So any topic that's related to firearms today, you should feel free to jump in and talk with us about it. You should feel free to jump in and join the fray and ask questions, discuss certain things. If you disagree with my point of view on some of this stuff, I fully encourage you to call in and we can talk about it. I would love to have a discussion on, any points that you think I might be wrong on. I mean, because hey, I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. That's how it works around here. You're eventually going to hit that wall and say something wrong. But I think mostly on the gun control side, I'm not wrong. So explain to me why you think I am, and let's have a conversation, a rational, reasonable, calm, collected, and polite conversation about it. That's kind of what I'm stretching for. I have over the years had several conversations on the program with people who disagree with me on the firearms issue, and I welcome that. It's few and far between because, well, I think we're preaching to the choir here. But if you just stumbled across the show and you have no basis for what we're talking about, you haven't listened to us before, and you don't know the positions, or you don't know, and you disagree with me, I would love to hear what you have to say today. I'd love to hear your rationale and your reasoning for some of the things that, for any position that you take that is antithetical to mine, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. In that light, I'd like to say thank you to our friends over there at Satellite West, who have been sponsoring the program for a long time here. and bringing you this program across the state of Alaska. It doesn't matter where you are in the state, from from Aniak to Uktaviak. I mean, wherever you are in the state of Alaska, we'd love you to go over there to Satellite West to be able to stay connected. They've got all the details. They've got all the equipment to help you be able to make phone calls, send text messages, surf the internet, send email, do whatever from wherever you are in the state, from all the way out there at Amelia Island, at the very end of the Aleutian chain, to down all the way down to Sitka on the other side at the Panhandle, or again, all the way up to Point Lay, or wherever it is that you are in the state of Alaska. You can stay connected with your friends at Satellite West. Go by and see them at satellitewest.com. Phone lines are open, as I said, at 907-433-3150. 907-433-3150. And you don't have to disagree. You can. I mean, I'm saying is I'm encouraging those who may disagree with me to call in. Now, that doesn't mean you have to disagree with me to call in. If you want to talk to me about some story you saw that is related to firearms, or you want to give a range report on a new favorite gun, or you want to talk, whatever. I'm happy to discuss anything firearms related today, because this is my weekly therapy session, right? I mean, this is where I just kind of come in, I let my hair down, what hair I have left, I let it down, and we just hang out. We just hang out a little bit. I've been trying to get Dr. John Lott back on the program because he has written several awesome pieces in the last couple of weeks. Still not quite down to that part yet. We might have to bring him, hopefully next week. That's my thought. That's my hope, is that next week we'll be working with Dr. John Lott, and we can get all that squared away and have and have a good conversation about some of the pieces, because he wrote a great piece here, which we didn't even get into last week, about red flag laws. And I thought it was a great piece. And now he's written a new piece over on the Federalist. And it is talking about the themes to extremism-related murder. He takes on the new report. The Anti-Defamation League has got a new report out, and the new headlines are all talking about all 25 U.S. extremist-related murders last year were linked to right-wing extremists. And then he proceeds to tear that thing apart, because he said the entire report is fatally flawed. Because it automatically assumes that every racist is automatically a right winger, et cetera, et cetera. And he goes on to talk about, really, the theme amongst most of these people is environmentalism, and that is a very interesting take, especially when he lays it out and breaks it down with some of the details. So we'll probably get into that here later this morning as well, that we can talk about. We'll probably hear from one of our listeners out in the lower 48. Fred is from Rhode Island. He calls in usually every week. We've got a new story out of Rhode Island that is pretty amazing, that a citizen of Rhode Island who had his gun carry renewal license denied took that thing all the way up to the state Supreme Court, and he won. And it's an interesting discussion. So we could talk about that as well. I got a bunch of stories. I just got a bunch of stories to talk about. But most importantly, on Friday, if I can accomplish one thing, it is to try and demystify the firearm for people. Because, there's a mythos that's kind of just grown up around the idea of firearms, and it's reinforced by what we see in the news media. It's reinforced by what we see in our entertainment, in our TV shows, our streaming shows, our movies. And it's kind of this whole, I don't know. There's a lot of misinformation that goes on out there, and there's a lot of themes, and there's a lot of things. I mean, anybody who has watched, and I've talked about this before, but I'll say it again because it's worth, however many seasons of Law and Order there is, and I think it's like 27 seasons or something. I mean, it's like one of the longest running shows on television. Anybody who's watched any bit of that over the course of the years knows that there is a serious anti-gun message baked into that show. That the police are the only ones that could be trusted to, have, and even in some of those storylines, there's also corrupt cops that are doing things like that. But that somehow an average person with a firearm is never a hero, can never do anything right. And of course, the bad guys with the guns, that's part of the problem. It's just so easy to get guns and yada, 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 and all this other kind of stuff. There's just this continuous, persistent drip, drip, drip from these outlets and media and everything else about how, private, that the guns are bad, that any private citizen that wants a gun is either insane or paranoid, and that this should all just be left to the professionals kind of mentality. That the only ones that should have guns are military and law enforcement. It was a who had done even, who had been bothered to do even a bit of fact checking, or to bring an expert on certain things, whether it's the Greg Jarrett on Fox News. That's the one that sticks out in my mind after the Sutherland Springs shooting in Texas. And he went on to talk about how all you had to do on an AR-15 was push a button and it became a machine gun. I mean, this is a legitimate talking head on Fox News, of all places, who literally said, all you have to do is, push a button, do this, and your AR-15 became the full auto machine. It was the most ridiculous, fallacious statement, and everybody around him is just nodding, going, "Oh yes, that's horrible. Oh, that's bad. That's horrible." And you got millions of Americans lapping this up, and there is no truth. There is no accountability in most of these stories that are, percolated by the mainstream media. First of all, because they just don't have the knowledge. I mean, I don't think that what Jarrett did was, I don't think it was intentional, but it was just so blatant that I just became enraged by it, because I'm like, it's a lie. It's a lie. And even a lie of ignorance should have some consequences. And yet we don't see many of these news media outlets, or if we do, it's like once in a blue moon, bring on somebody who has knowledge of firearms, knowledge of the law, knowledge of, the processes and what needs to take place. Very rarely does it happen. Chris Chang, our monthly guest, the Top Shot champion, he was invited to do that thing from CNN, which was, that was a huge deal, because generally speaking, these news media outlets do not actually bring people in from the positive, I guess, gun side of the equation. It's always, some interview with Shannon Watts or Michael Bloomberg or somebody from, Gun Violence Coalition or the CDC or whoever. And they very rarely ever, if they're lucky to interview some guy who's got 2.5 teeth, like I'm always been, and I'm real good, and I think guns are fantastic and fine. It won't, right? That's what they bring in, instead of somebody who's an expert on the law or an expert on firearms themselves or anything else. It's always all these polished, impressed people on the anti-gun side, and then they bring in some hick from wherever who can barely string two sentences together on the pro side. I mean, it's just standard practice these days. So that's what Firearms Friday is all about. It's about a conversation between you and me, hanging out, talking about these things, doing what we can do, educating, entertaining, enlightening. It's all those things. But here we are. We're at the break. So we will continue in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We return with more right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. Don't forget to join us on Facebook, facebook.com/Michael Duke Show.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Hi, Heidi ho. How are you guys doing? How is today? How are you doing? I'm just wow. Good morning. Good morning. You ever had one of those mornings where you're just like, that was me this morning. I mean, I actually went to bed pretty early last night, and I woke up this morning and I was like, still not 100% with it. I'll just admit it. I'm still, look at this, can't even take my headphones off. I am still not 100% with it. All right. Whew, man. Okay. Oh. I've lost part of the feed. There we go. I don't know what's going on. Happy Iditarod. Yep, Iditarod starts tomorrow. guys. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? I got GCI'd again. I don't know if it's GCI or if it's I don't know if it's GCI or if it's me on my end. I'm not quite sure.
Problems.
Does this mean that if we hurt your feelings, you'd consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can live with that. Here's Michael Dukes.
Yeah. Should have put my Starlink back up. I know I should have put my Starlink, well, not back up, but I should have put it up just in case, although that would have been a real pain in the woohoo-hoo. But here we are, jumping back into it with this Firearms Friday. It actually crashed my whole phone system, so I'm rejoining the phone system right now. So if you wanted to call in, you could feel free to do so at 907 433 3150. 907 433 3150. And we'd love to hang out and just do all the talky stuff. It's because it's Friday and it's a good time for it. So we are I'm headed back over to the phone rooms to make sure that there's nobody hanging out waiting for me. There in the phone room, I jumped into other stories. Fingers crossed it was a perfect time to have an internet outage problem is during the commercial break. It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, it's not good for the folks who are out there hanging out in the chat rooms and stuff, but it's better than being dead air on the radio. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful for that for sure. Okay. So what are some of the stories that we're going to be talking about here? I got a bunch of things. We got the California city. One California city is now charging more than $1,000 for a gun carry permit, and how that's about to face some fire. The Senate Republicans are introducing an ATF Transparency Act. Not that it's going to go anywhere, but it should an interesting discussion. And of course, also there are some potential dividends that could be paid by the court case right now between the president and the Supreme Court on the whole student loan case. It could have broader implications. It could have broader implications, and I want to touch on that as well this morning. But I want to take some calls, and I got phone calls already this morning. Look, I turned the phones back on, and everything works. Fingers crossed that this stuff is actually working properly this morning. It's a Monday that's a Friday. Let's go over here and see what you have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Mike. This is Leonard up in Fairbanks.
Good morning, Leonard. What is on your mind, my friend?
Hey, can I get can we get an update on that fella that foiled the active shooter at the food court in the mall?
At the Greenville Mall or the Greenway
It
Mall?
just disappeared from the news.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the guy at the Greenway Mall or the Greenville Mall or whatever it was? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great example of a good guy carrying a gun, taking care of business.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's exactly why it disappeared from the news, Leonard, because it did not fit their narrative because they keep saying that, oh, a good guy with a gun can't. That's a ridiculous thing. And then it happens. And yeah, they reported on it for about 2.5 seconds in the news cycle, and then it just vanished. That's a good thing. I'll have to do some. I imagine I'll have to do some searching and some scratching on that to find it, Leonard. But yeah, I'll put that on the to-do list for next Friday. Okay, we'll see if we can find some kind of update about what's going on.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. Love your show.
I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for being part of it today. Appreciate that. That was Leonard up in Fairbanks at 907-433-3150, 907-433-3150. Let's have a hallelujah breakdown moment that the phones worked properly. Let's just do that. Let's just bring it on by. I'm excited. When everything started to go haywire, I'm just like, yep, this is what today is right here. This is the day. I can't wait for Willie to signal the end of the show today. Usually I'm all about all the gun stuff, and Willie's just like a nice cherry on top. Today I'm just like, let's just get to the cherry. I'm just such a day. You thought Alaska was bad when it comes to special sessions, right? It's not a usual thing. We may have become more inured to it because it's such a common thing here in Alaska. But in other states, it's not that common a thing. But now we're seeing how the special session is being used as a weapon against some of the legislators, because not all legislators make Alaska kind of money, right? Up here, what is the base salary is $55,000 a year plus $300 a day per diem and everything else and all that stuff. In some states, they don't make the big money. And in fact, in New Mexico, they don't even get a salary. They get per diem that's not more than many of us would make on a daily basis. I mean, they don't get the federal per diem, right? They get a smaller per diem. So when a governor threatens a special session on the legislature, it is kind of like financial warfare. And the reason that the governor of New Mexico is threatening a special session is because she's not getting her way. The gun control policies that she supports are going nowhere. This is from Yahoo News. One of Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham's key public safety initiatives may be in trouble, and she hinted that the battle over such legislation may force a special session. In her State of the State address, the governor called for legislative and public support to ban automatic weapons, saying they are tools of war that are flooding the streets and endangering both the public and police officers. Okay. I'm going to finish that, but I have to stop and sidebar there for a minute because she wants to, she's actually calling for a ban on automatic weapons, Class 3 automatic weapons. They are tools of war that are flooding the streets. Yet there has not been any crimes involving lawfully owned full auto weapons, Class 3 registered NFA items. I mean, there has not been, you would have heard about that on the news in a hot, skinny second if that had gone on. And in fact, there has been very few crimes ever committed with NFA weapons. Very, very few ever. Why? Because those things are investments. I mean, those things are worth tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, but don't worry. They're tools of war that are flooding the streets and endangering both the public and police officers. Interesting how they separated those two. Interesting. Just think about that for a minute. But the tabling of one of two legislative initiatives to ban automatic weapons earlier this week put the other bill's fate into question, a point acknowledged by the governor. She said, "I wish I could say that with great confidence that one is going to move through. I think it's going to have difficulty getting through," addressing House Bill 101. She suggested that she would call a special session if need be to get some of the public safety measures going forward. We may have to stay longer or do it again, which, again, doing the same thing over and over and having different results, probably not. HB 101, by the way, is not a ban on automatic weapons, but it's a more pedestrian assault weapons ban. So she had two bills that went hand in hand, one against automatic Class 3 NFA federally regulated items, and one against just plain old pedestrian scary black rifles. That's what it's all about. And she's using the monetary threat of a special session to get her point across. This is just bullying the legislature. That's what it is. Not that she cares. Not that she cares in any way, shape, or form. She's okay with the bullying. She's okay with that. But at least I guess it's good to know that somebody else is screwing up with their special sessions across the country. All right, let's go over to the phones and see what you guys have to say. 907-433-3150. We go over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from? Hello, call. Hello, good morning. Yeah. Oh, man, what a hot mess this morning. I don't know what's going on. I keep having to reset my Ethernet adapter to get everything to connect. But here we are doing our thing. We're up in the phone lines now. Phones are back. And caller. Okay. So we're gonna get into that here in just a minute. We're not even an hour into this, and I'm excruciatingly frustrated this morning already. But again, it is the weekend, and I'm excited about that. Two lines on hold now. Okay. Fingers crossed. This whole thing like wire. Could be a balloon flying over screwing with a signal. Yeah, could be. It's always GCI. Maybe you had a solar flare hit your place. Yeah. I'd like to blame it on a solar flare. I would love to blame it on a solar flare. Still haven't heard about any sweeping legislation outlawing assault U-Hauls. Yeah. Wait till they shut down all the internet. Yeah, I mean, when the internet is outlawed, only outlaws will have internet, right? Okay, let's go over to the phones and get some names here so that we know what we're doing and we're on task. Good morning. Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Michael. This is Larry in North Fairbanks area.
Okay, Larry, hold the line. I'll be right back to you. You'll be first up. We'll be when we come back to the radio, you'll be first up in the queue. So we got Larry in Fairbanks. Let's go over to the other caller. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Fred. How you been?
Hey,
this is second call. I guess you had some technical issues earlier.
Oh man, it's been technical hell today, Fred. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. You'll be number 2 in the queue, right behind Larry. Okay, and we'll be back to you here in just a minute.
Good enough.
So it's Larry and Fred, and we got a third. Man, phone lines got busy all of a sudden. Let's go over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you from?
Good morning, Michael. It's Melody from Wasilla.
Hello, Melody. You hold the line, my dear. And
I got a buses update when you're ready.
Oh, a buses update. Yeah, I read it this morning. So you can give it to me. It's not a Firearms Friday thing, but I'll let you give it to me just because it affects the Matsu people so much, and I don't care. I'm that kind of guy today. I'm that kind of guy. I'm a monster today. Allowing non-firearms talk on the phones. Oh, that's monstrous. That's monstrous. But we'll do it. We'll get through it. We'll make it work. Okay. Please baby, hold together. Aliens have landed. Take a deep, deep sip of coffee, says Debbie. I wish I had some coffee this morning. I didn't have time this morning. I didn't have coffee, and I didn't even have a Monster for backup. That's my usual backup. If you see me drinking a Monster energy drink in the morning, because I didn't have time to make coffee. And so I snatched one out of the fridge on the way by. And I didn't even have one of those this morning because we were out. I was like, oh, dang. I definitely need some pick-me-up, but, she'll hold together. Come on, baby, hold together. That's what I feel like right now. That's the whole point. All right. So what other stories? I'm sure Fred's going to want to talk about this Rhode Island case. It's probably making some waves out there in Rhode Island. We can talk about that. The student loan, equating safety and gun control. The Uvalde families, and if you've heard that, they confronted the Texas law enforcement, one of the chief Texas law enforcement officials. Ooh, it got ugly. Ugly. And more. And again, just your phone calls. Okay. Oh, yeah. By the way, Lord out there, they were like, don't believe the rumors that crime is up, and don't believe the thing that crime is. Oh, she's Okay. Apparently, it's just one of those days. We got phone lines on hold, though. We're going to go over there to the phone lines first. I wanted to whine a little bit about my day, but I can't go over here talking folks, including Larry, who is up in Fairbanks. He's going to be first on our list this morning to talk with us. We'll see what he has to say. Good morning, Larry. What's happening up there?
Oh, a little bit of snow, and I got about 12 below zero at my place. Of course, I live in that hole out here by North Pole, so
right.
I'm usually about 10 degrees colder than North Pole is. But anyway, a couple of things I had on my mind. One, tomorrow is and Sunday is the Nenana Ice Classics tripod raisin days, and I'm putting on the turkey shoot tomorrow, Saturday, starting at noon, down there at the mile 303 on the Parks Highway. And anybody wants to come down and try to win the turkeys, they can bring their moose gun or centerfire handgun or small bore handgun.
Larry,
small bore rifle.
Explain to those folks out there who don't know what a turkey shoot is. What exactly is a turkey shoot? I mean, how does it work? For folks who don't know, explain how it goes down.
With the small bore rifle, small bore handgun, and centerfire handgun, we have paper targets with scoring rings on them, and we line up 10 people, and the fee is $2 for 5 shots, and whoever has the highest score wins the turkey of that group.
Right. Fantastic way to show off your
match for years.
This is a fantastic way to show off your marksmanship while supporting a worthy cause and having some good fun.
Yep. And I had another thing I was going to ask you about. Almost every morning, I hear on KFR radio up here that Brady comes on with this ad, and they're saying 65 people a day use
Hi, guys. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I hope you can. Oh, my God. If it could go wrong, it is going wrong right now. Hi. How are you? What's going on? Can you hear me? You're back. Am I back? Can you hear me? I mean, thank God the radio stations could still hear me no matter what was going on. The radio stations were still connected. And I'm back. Hi. Will the recording have sound? Some of it. Today's podcast is going to be a hot mess. I want to go back to bed right now. I want to pretend like today never happened. And, here we go. That's all I can say right now. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it's a Friday on a Monday. Yeah, or it's a Monday on a Friday. It's Frunday. That's what it is. Frunday. Okay. Luckily, we've only got 1 hour left of this. Fingers crossed that this whole thing holds together. That's all I could say. We're gonna see. It's Firearms Friday. I know. The one day that this could have happened, I mean, this could have happened on a Thursday, and I'd have been like, okay, I'd have just killed the stream and just done the radio show directly, which is less fun. I'll be honest with you. It's so weird to do just plain radio and not have you guys chatting in the chat room for me to go bounce off of and take a look at. It is, yeah, it's so weird. I mean, how did I do radio all those years? Or as we like to call it, Frunday. It's a Monday on a Friday. It's it has been This is what happens when you have a low budget radio show, right? I mean, that's something breaks, and there's no bunch of engineers in the background scrambling around trying to fix it. It's me trying to fix it while we're doing things live on the air, and the whole thing is just a hot mess this morning. But it's Friday. That's the good news, is that it's Friday, and we get a chance to hang out and talk with you. And go. I'm excited. I'm super excited. So thanks for coming in and joining us and being part of the program today. Firearms Friday is, of course, your chance to sound off on issues of a Second Amendment nature. That's what it's all about, a Second Amendment nature. We love having you on board, and we love getting a chance to chat about, well, a little bit about everything, everything that you could possibly want in regards to firearms. That's what we're all about today. The phone lines are not up and available because the stability is not there. And I already lost a phone call twice in the middle of the phone call. So let's just not do that. Let's not do that, shall we? We'll just keep things simple. We'll keep things simple, and it'll be just you and me talking about the things that we want to talk about. And, that'll just basically be me talking about the things that I want to talk about. We're going to see what you guys have to say here, in the chat room or in the email. The email address is real difference in getting all that stuff squared away. That's something that, you get away with it for a while, but the moment you stop getting away with acting like an idiot is the moment that you or someone else could get killed. But it also produces a problem when we should all be able to rally around that idea, but even if some people disagree. But some people have decided to argue that gun control is safety. Some would even try to act like it's to such a degree that they've convinced themselves that it's not actually gun control. There's a writer in Nevada who implored in an op-ed letter in Reno that says, Nevada, let's stop talking gun control and talk gun safety. The writer goes on to say, since 9/11, suicides by military members have set records highs across all services and components, actives, reserve, and National Guard, etc. In fact, more than 30,000 service members and veterans who served since 9/11 have died from suicide. In 2021, the number of active duty National Guard and Reserve personnel suicides alone was 519, down from 582 in 2020. That figure does not include veterans, which is now estimated to average nearly 17 people a day who commit suicide. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin released a report on Friday that details the military's proposed response to this vexing problem. It was a detailed study that looked at what strategies would work on military bases to lower the number of deaths. Military doctors, mental and behavioral health specialists, and senior non-com officers all collaborated to prioritize the things that would immediately eliminate suicide. Now, the measures are despite the euphemisms about safety in this whole thing, the measures are mostly about gun control, basically restricting any kind of ownership, usage, control of any kind of firearms on base by any military member, except for in the commission of their duties, right? While they're working, no private firearm, no nothing. And pretending that this is not gun control is dangerous. I mean, just disingenuous. It really blows my mind that this is the idea, because remember, the truth is that it only impacts guns that are sold on base and not those in the town or the surrounding areas. Right? I mean, so it doesn't fix the ultimate. I mean, it does nothing to fix the access problem to firearms in most places. They could go outside the base and get these things. This is a deeper problem, and it has to do, again, with mental health and everything else. And this idea of couching all this phrasing and verbiage in safe gun storage or in background checks or in reducing their ability to get access to it and everything else. It's all about, it's about the control. It's not really about the safety, because those things are not making a difference. All right. We got to go. We're up against the break, so we're going to continue here in just a moment, and we will keep things rolling here right now. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. You can come join us out on Facebook if you want. Although your experience today on the radio is probably much better. Much better right now. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to take an assault hammer to the to the streaming PC. Oh, man. I don't even know what to say at this point. I have never had it act this way. And I don't know if it's just getting to the end of its useful life or what, but I have never, ever had it act this way. Like just repeatedly disconnected. And it's a problem now. I mean, I'm realizing now that it's not a problem with my internet connectivity per se. It's a problem with the computer. That adapter, something is going on, and it is not liking the world. So I guess that means what report was that about military and gun control? Here is a link to that report, Gary. I'm going to post the link right now in the chat room. There you go. There's the link to the report. And I guess I'll give you the original opinion piece as well. This is the opinion piece in the Reno paper talking about it. But there you go. There's all you. There's the report, and then there's the opinion piece talking about. It's all about safety. It's all about safety. I appreciate you, 18 people, sticking with me through all that. I mean, I can't imagine why you guys have stuck through all this stuff, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to tear everything apart this weekend, I guess. There goes my weekend. There goes the weekend. Because that will be a 15-hour project for sure to get everything up and running and squared away and yada, yada, yada. Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. I don't know. Just thinking in my mind here, first steps of what I need to try to do. I guess new drivers for the board to begin with. We'll start there and see where it goes from there. How about that? What do you think? Am I running in the right direction? While we're running the... You guys don't care, I know, but I'm just, my brain is running a million miles an hour right now during, running down the fault tree of all the things that are wrong. What's gone wrong? How can I fix it? How can I make it work? What has to change? What gets better? What doesn't? Oh, baby. We'll see how this looks when it's all said and done. I mean, look, the whole thing is held together now for a good 10 minutes. I hate to say anything, but 10 minutes so far without the thing being interrupted. So I guess we're running in the right direction at this point, running in the right direction. And then we got this one final segment, and then it's going to be me and Willie. Oof. Okay. So hopefully all the audio comes together. Now I'm really worried about it. Because there's not a damn thing I could do about it if it's broken in the middle of the interview. There's no way I can do it. I might as well just throw my hands up and walk away and play it for the radio, baby. Play it for the radio. Yes, Melody, all the powers that be are against you. No, but if I have God with me, who can stand against me? That's what I say. If he be with me, who could stand against me? It's exhausting, man. It's totally exhausting. Where would I? Oh, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the student loan case. All right. 20 seconds out. Ready to go. We'll see how this whole thing works in just a minute. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense. Oh, I didn't even get the ding. Everything's broken. Here we go. Back with more. All right, welcome back to the program. It is the Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We got this final segment here to talk about guns and firearms and all the goodness that's fit to print. And I've got a discussion point for you. We talked about Bruin being the gift that just keeps on giving, right? I mean, the Bruin decision is going to be, that is a bellwether moment. And it is pretty exciting to see some of the cases that are coming out. Student loan forgiveness is, of course, the big battle in front of the Supreme Court right now. But normally this would not make a big deal on Firearms Friday. But over at Based Politics, Hannah Cox has got a breakdown of the political implications of the case for the student loan deferment thing, the student loan forgiveness plan. And she writes about this and points out that there are some real world implications if the Supreme Court strikes down the Forgiveness Act. And she writes, at play in this case is the Major Questions Doctrine, MQD, which was mentioned in its first opinion last year, the EPA versus West Virginia. The MQD rule is a new rule of statutory interpretation which essentially says government agencies cannot act outside the bounds of the power Congress has explicitly given to them when the issue at hand carries significant economic or political weight. Student loans and the bailouts of that and the price tag certainly meet the latter part of that significant economic or political weight. Should the court uphold the MQD in this case and rule against the Biden administration's bailout, it would not only be the end of the argument on this specific subject, it would represent a significant new reign on government power run amok. It would set a precedent in the Supreme Court. Hardly anything, she continues, passes through Congress these days. The legislative body has largely delegated its primary duty of making laws to unelected bureaucrats, the president, and governmental agencies. This means the American people have little representation and little ability to push back on bad government policies. Now, this was part of the heart of the argument in the recent federal court cases where the bump stock ban was overturned because they stated that the ATF did not have the authority because it was not specifically given to them by Congress. In fact, they basically said that Congress had abrogated its authority to the ATF. They implicated it was in an unlawful way. The most famous, of course, the bump stock ban was one of the most famous bannings that has come out most recently. Now they're talking about arm braces. But they just simply made up a rule banning a device, calling it a machine gun. This is after years, by the way, of determination letters and confirmations from the ATF that it was a total lawful legal product. They just arbitrarily made a rule banning the device, calling it a machine gun. Now, the term machine gun, which is any weapon which shoots, is designed to shoot or can be readily restored to shoot automatically with more than one shot without manual reloading by a single function of the trigger. A bump stock doesn't allow you to shoot more than one shot with a single function of a trigger. It speeds up how fast that your finger pulls the trigger because it bounces against it bumps against your finger. So it doesn't even fit the definition of a machine gun, but because the ATF issued a simple rule calling it a machine gun, that was it. So the point of this is that this case could, in theory, throw a larger problem at the bump stock ban, the arm brace ban, all these other things that are just arbitrarily being decided and other agencies. EPA was one we mentioned earlier. Other regulatory agencies who are just promulgating regulations that have no basis in fact, that have no, they have no peer review, they have no input from Congress or anything else. They just do it. This ruling on the student loan forgiveness could have a huge effect on everything else. And I'm kind of, I'll be honest, I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. All of this hinges on whether the Supreme Court uses the major questions doctrine, though, and there's no guarantee that will happen. They tend to rule fairly narrowly on most things, although Brune was a prime example of how they didn't. But it's going to be interesting to see how they rule and whether they bring up the major questions doctrine in that discussion. It's something to keep an eye on, and it's something to watch as we move forward here, and keep an eye, because again, the ATF just arbitrarily making decisions willy-nilly wherever they want. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I want to talk for just a minute here. We're going to try and get Dr. John Lott on the program next week to talk a little bit more about some of the articles he's written. His most recent article from yesterday is up on the Federalist. I will post a link in the chat room for the handful of people who are still in the chat room this morning because of all of our technical problems this morning. But it's up on the Federalist, and it's written by Dr. Lott, and its title is "If there's a theme to extremism-related murders, it's environmentalism." He takes issue with the Anti-Defamation League. He says the Anti-Defamation League and much of the corporate media are intent on construing any racist as a conservative right-winger, but it's not true. They're all relying on a new report from the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. All 25 U.S. extremist-related murders last year were linked to right-wing extremists. But Dr. Lott pulls this whole thing apart. He says, look, this thing is fatally flawed. It assumes that every racist is automatically a right-winger. For example, he said 10 of the 25 extremist murders last year was that shooting in Buffalo, at the store in Buffalo. He said the shooter was anything but a right-winger. He was just yet another mass murderer motivated by environmentalism. He said in his write-up explaining the attack, the Buffalo shooter labeled himself as an eco-fascist national socialist and part of the mild, moderate, authoritarian left. He worried minorities have too many children and that damages the environment. He said the invaders are the ones overpopulating the world. Kill the invaders, kill the overpopulation, and by doing so, save the environment. He was a rabid environmentalist. He hated capitalists who he believed were destroying the environment or were the root of much of the problem. I don't hear much of a right-wing extremist in that. Then you had the Colorado Springs shooters, which accounted for 5 more murders. He shot up an LGBT bar, right? That he had hosted. The ADL reports noted that he hosted a white supremacist website, which people falsely identified as right-wing, but the report conveniently leaves out that the murderer was non-binary and used the pronouns they, them. Hardly something done by right-wing conservatives in all these other things. Dr. Lott goes through and he does a very good job of highlighting all the problems that we're seeing in all this stuff and why you can't always believe everything that you are told, I guess, as you go through here. All right. We're coming up on the break. Willie Waffle is, we're closing out Firearms Friday for today for Gun Talk, and we're going to pick it up with our lighter side for the weekend, and that is Willie Waffle bringing us the weekend entertainment review, the news, and more. The Michael Dukes Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Back with more Willie Waffle right after these messages. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Whew. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Well, 16 of you in the chat room. Say hi. Everybody who's here still, there's 16 of you. Say hi. Hi. How you doing? Want everybody. Don't lurk in the background. Let me know you're hanging out. Give me a thumbs up. Do something. Make a face at me. Send me an emoji. I don't know. Whatever you got going on. God, I hate to say it. I feel like I need a drink this early on a Friday morning. Not really, but I just like, oh, man. All right. Gary, Debbie, Jeffrey, Tawny, Teresa. Hello. Good morning to all of you. There's 4 of the 16. Brian's in the chat room as well. All right. That's right. Send me your favorite emoji. It better not be the poop emoji. That's all I'm saying. It better not be the poop. Yeah, no. This is drinking. Yeah, this is a great day for some day drinking. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, 7:39 in the morning. Is that too early? I'm asking for a friend. Yeah. I mean, when I'm nervously just like watching every little tick. If something slows down, it doesn't load properly right away. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? It's all good. Rum chata and coffee. Oh, shut up. Richard. Oh, you're an evil, evil man. I mean, I was just thinking about a little Bailey's in my coffee, but you're like rum chata and coffee? Ooh, that hits the spot. Rum chata is so good. Oh, man. Oh, I'm not much of a rum drinker, but that rum chata is delicious. It is very. What did my wife make with that? She made something. She made something with rum chata one time, and I was like, "Oh, we got to have that again." And I've already forgotten what it was. So, mind like a steel trap, right here. Got it all. Yeah, Irish coffee, little Irish whiskey and coffee. Although I'll be honest with you, I prefer like a Bailey's in my coffee. That's when you say Irish coffee, that's what I think is Bailey's Irish cream and coffee. Although technically, an Irish coffee is just coffee with Irish whiskey in it. I'm here to help. It's also good with root beer, he says. Root beer and rum chata. That's an interesting flavor combination that I would have never picked in my lifetime. Might have to try that. Might have to try that out. That's good. All right, coming up on Monday, Rob Myers is coming back to dissect with us some of the fiscal things of where we're going in the future. And I'm hoping to get an email today from Calvin Schraggy, who tried to call in yesterday on the program. And anyway, it didn't work out. So we're going to try and see if we can get him in on Monday on the first hour, and we'll work on that. And then Tuesday and then Wednesday, Mike Showers back. Tuesday is Brad Keithley, Chris Story. I got a lot of big part of the week next week already kind of carved out. We're working on getting Jamie Allard on the program as well. That'll be fun. And I want to have more I'm trying to get more interviews with like I said before, Mark Cameron, the Alaskan author who writes for the Tom Clancy franchise. I want to get more, people like that, more authors, more local folks, because that's just kind of fun. It's kind of fun to hear that and talk with those people. I should get Ukulele Russ on the program, Alaskan musician. He's amazing. He's so much fun. So that would be a good That would be a good interview. Maybe I'll reach out to Russ and see what he's doing. See if he's not on his tour yet. I know that. Well, official tour, but he might be getting ready. He moved down to Talkeetna here recently from up in north of Fairbanks, which I mean, as much as I love the people in Fairbanks, it's a good move. It's a good move. Moving down here into the banana belt is always a little easier. What did Larry say? It was 12 below. It's 14 degrees here. It's 14 degrees here in Wasilla. So it's a 25-degree difference. I'm happy that this is where I'm at, that I don't have to mess with that, because what a hot. I can't imagine. I don't want to be in the. I've reached that age where I'm not afraid to admit I don't like the super cold. I mean, my parents are still up there; they're living through it. God love them. I just choose not to do that. The super cold stresses me out. It really does, because it's not necessarily the cold being cold. It's all the things that the super cold brings with it. High heating oil prices, stuff breaking, cars breaking down, all that kind of, that's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy on this. Okay, we got to go. I got to flick the lights on. Willie's here. We're about to jump into it. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio. Hi there, ho there, hey there. Hey, what did you just call me? Anyway, hey, welcome back to the program. It is the Michael Duke Show. It is Friday, and it's the weekend. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com, is waiting in the wings. In fact, let's usher him in to the broadcast. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
Oh, I am all about the weekend, man. I'm feeling good about the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something so sweet about the weekend. I don't know what it is, but I like it. All right.
Oh, I do too. Let me tell you, you know what I love more than anything else?
What's that?
Friday night, man.
Friday night.
You get home, you got the whole weekend in front of you.
Yeah.
There's no pressure to do anything. You just sit back and you go, yeah, I earned the next 2 days.
It's a party, and you're invited. That's what it's all about. All right. Well, Willie, let's get started here. I don't know, where do we want to start off? I guess we could start off with more legal problems for Alec Baldwin and Rust. It's Firearms Friday, so let's talk about a little bit of that firearms crime or mischief or criminal neglect that went on. What's the new story?
Well, and that's the thing that we've been talking about as this all has unfolded. We were like, everybody and everyone is going to be suing here. There's going to be more legal fees involved with this thing. The legal fees will probably exceed the budget of the movie. And so now this week, 3 crew members got in on the legal action. So they have filed a lawsuit against Alec Baldwin and the other producers, alleging that they have suffered from anxiety and symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder since the tragic incident happened in October of 2021. All 3 of these people, one was a key grip, one was a set costumer, and one was a dolly operator. They
Right.
were all close to the shot when it was fired. They claim they suffered blast injuries due to the deafening, quote, deafening sound of the shot that was fired.
What does that translate to as far as real American dollars? What do you think?
It depends. I mean, I could see each one of them going for $1 million plus. I would think. I mean, if you think about it, they're going to argue, hey, you've ruined my life going forward, and that's worth something. That's not $20,000, and we'll send you a signed autographed picture of Alec Baldwin.
Right.
So I think that's going to be a problem. The other thing too. Hey, let's talk turkey, baby. If you're Alec Baldwin, your number one concern in this whole matter is whether or not you're going to jail.
Yeah.
And you might just be willing to settle with these 3 people to ensure that they don't testify against you down the road.
Oh, that might be it. Part of the, yeah. Interesting. Well,
because they were there.
Yeah,
they were there. They were witnesses.
I think they have to be compelled to test. I mean, I don't think that you can, I don't know. I'm not a legal beagle, but I have a feeling that they can be compelled to testify, and he can't guarantee their silence with, unless they all take the fifth, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Well, what that testimony goes from is, I can't believe how reckless he was to, I remember Mr. Baldwin being very careful.
Well, yeah, again, not the legal way, but maybe it's the expeditious way, right? That's what we were looking for there. All right. Movie theaters, they are still the biggest losers because, I mean, they're record-breaking movie performances, record-breaking billion-dollar movies, and still they're losing money.
Yeah, and I think this shows you that there's just no depth to the performance of other movies. It's either a big, massive blockbuster or it's losing money, and that's what you're kind of seeing with AMC movies. So they came out with their quarterly announcement this week, and they announced that yes, they're still losing money, but what really was shocking is they lost more money this year than last year. And last year we were a little bit more last year. What I'm saying is in 2022. They lost more money than they lost in 2021. And in 2022, we thought things were a little bit better and more open, and people were doing things. Well, even though we had Avatar 2, which is now like the number 3 movie of all time, AMC said that their revenues were down 15% from 2021 to 2022, and their losses were like 287 million, which is like exceeded their fourth quarter loss in 2021, which was 134 million.
Wow.
So, whoa, yeah, exactly.
So like an 80% increases in losses. And you're wondering why places like Regal Theaters and stuff are closing theaters across the country because they can't do it.
And Regal's parent company filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's bad, and this is where movie theaters are really suffering because you hear that they had Avatar and it made like $2 billion, and Ant-Man made $100 million in its opening weekend. But what you're not hearing is like those second tier movies, those third tier movies. They're just tanking. A movie like Marlowe, which I don't even think it made $5 million total in its release, and it's a Liam Neeson movie. At least that would have made maybe 20 or 25 over time.
Right.
And that's what's killing movies. That's what's killing movies.
Well, yeah, putting out crap movies definitely doesn't help. So the question is, So the question is, do the movie theaters? I mean, does this give them some leverage with the movie studios to renegotiate that you make money for 6 weeks and we make money on the other end of it? Or is it just mean that theaters are closing and all movies are going to streams except for a few select theaters?
Well, I think AMC has already tipped its hand how they're going to try to make their money back. premium seating. Oh, you want to sit in the middle?
Right,
We'll
right.
charge
We
you
talked about that.
$2 more.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
and I think that really is their only gambit right now, because they can get that extra $2 for the big movies, because people are going to want to go to those. I don't know if they're going to make the extra $2 on Marlowe.
Right, exactly. Well, that's too bad. All right, let's move over to live comedy. Chris Rock has got the big live comedy show on Netflix, and it's getting even bigger. It's star-studded, and it's got live stuff going on around it. It's not only the stream, but it's got some live stuff to it too. Give me the rundown.
Yeah, Netflix is going all in. While other streaming services have been showing things live, Netflix hasn't done very much of this, and they want to get in the business and they want to show that they can do this. So Chris Rock is doing a live comedy show on Netflix Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. And yes, he's going to do a lot of jokes about Will Smith and the Oscars, no doubt about it. Well,
Right.
it's more than just the comedy special now. So Netflix is going to have a pre-show special at like 9:30 Eastern, and that's going to feature Amy Schumer, Arsenio Hall, Leslie Jones, and Jerry Seinfeld.
Holy cow! And then they're going to
Yeah,
then they're doing a
big.
post show with more people, right?
Yeah, so the post show is going to be hosted by David Spade and Dana Carvey, who do a big Saturday Night Live podcast right now, and they have already said that they're going to have on JB Smoove and noted comedian Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Well, and
'Cause when I
unfortunately,
think comedy,
yeah,
I think of Kareem. Okay.
unfortunately, 10 p.m. Eastern is 6 p.m. Alaska time, so that the pre-show is going to be playing at 5:30 p.m., which is, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess we could all be home at 5:30 on a Saturday night. I mean, we are old, right? So, but I probably will watch the streamed show itself, though.
Well, and that's the catch here. So they're gonna be able you're gonna be able to get the Chris Rock show on the stream. Okay, like it's gonna be on Netflix. If you don't watch it live Saturday Night Live or Saturday, you can watch it Sunday. You can watch it Monday. You can watch it whenever you get around to it. But the pre-show and the post-show are going to be live only. You
Right.
watch it or you miss it, which is a very interesting move by Netflix. Which right up until now, they've always said that hey, watch it when you get to it.
Right.
We want you to just see it, and now they're saying you're getting one chance or it's gone.
Interesting. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, we got 3 movies up. We got about 2 minutes per movie here. So, Creed 3, Operation Fortune, and Daisy Jones and the Six. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about Daisy Jones and the Six, the new Amazon Prime series. You've got 3 episodes this week, and then one new one every Thursday after this. I think they're doing 10 total, and it's set up almost like, remember VH1 had that behind the music documentary series,
Right.
where they talk to the bands about things that happened in the past. Well, that's what this whole series is set up like. That Daisy Jones and the Six were this big band of the 70s. It's based on a book, and the guy who wrote the book always said the influence was really Fleetwood Mac. The idea that you
Right.
had these characters in this massive band that was bigger than any other band in the world, and we learned that they had this horrible falling out in 1977, and nobody really knows why. And the whole series is looking back at how the band got together, how they rose and fall, and interviews with the band members telling their sides of the story.
All fictionalized, right? It's all fictionalized.
All fictional.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Totally.
I
But I think it's
yeah,
an
go ahead.
interesting series. No,
Well-
it's an interesting series. The thing that really makes it interesting is Daisy Jones is played by Riley Keough. And
Okay.
if people don't know that name, that is Elvis Presley's granddaughter.
Oh, wow. Okay. I saw the
Yeah.
trailer for it, and I watched the trailer, and I was like, I don't I don't think I'd watch it even if it was Fleetwood Mac. I don't know. It's just not, that's just not something that piques my interest, But I mean, some people, they love like the documentary kind of things, but this is a docudrama, mockument. I don't even know what you'd classify it as.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to put it, because it's really all fictional. A fictumentary, I don't know. But I think it's interesting. I think the problem with the series is that a lot of stuff happens, but I don't feel like I'm seeing much of a story.
Right.
And I think that's the hard part. But Riley Keough is very, very good.
Okay.
Playing this central character who is just all pizzazz and all star. I mean, I'm going to say 2.5 waffles. I think you got
Okay.
a solid series if you want to check it out.
All right. Okay, we can go with that. So what's next? Creed or Operation Fortune?
We'll do Operation Fortune, and I can't pronounce the entire title. It's like Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre or whatever French that is.
Rue de Guerre.
And
Rue de Guerre.
Rue de Guerre. Yeah. Well, it's Jason Statham being Jason Statham. Okay, people.
Yeah.
Here he is. He's this big super spy. He's teamed up with other spies around the world to take down a weapons dealer played by Hugh Grant, who's got some big, massive weapon that nobody wants out there in the world. And they come up with a plan that involves a ruse with one of Hollywood's biggest actors, played by Josh Hartnett. And it's a goofy, funny comedy. Okay, I think Jason Statham is underrated as a comedian. I think that he's just great at delivering the straight line and the frustration and the reactions that the audience has. And Aubrey Plaza is in here as one of the people who's part of the spy group. And I just love her droll, kind of just dry humor and delivery.
No, she's amazing.
This is like 2.5 waffles.
That's good. I mean, I will say Jason Statham has got that dry humor. There's two Guy Ritchie movies that I could watch again and again and again, and it's Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
Those two movies, they take that dry humor with Guy Ritchie's film style, and they're just hysterical.
Then you're going to be really excited because guess who's the director of this movie?
Guy Ritchie. I know. That's
Guy Ritchie.
I know.
Baby.
That's what I'm liking it. That's why I'm excited about it. All right. In theaters, Operation Fortune in theaters, Daisy Jones and the Six on Amazon Prime. Willie Waffle. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate you coming on board.
Hey, you got it, man. Next week it's Scream 6.
My wife will be excited. Folks, we're out of time. We will see you on Monday. Rob Myers, our guest. It's going to be fun stuff. We'll see you then. Okay. Creed, I don't know. I mean, so you have to fill me in on the backstory here real quick because, I mean, I watched Rocky and I know Apollo Creed and everything. Is this Apollo Creed's son? Is that the story here? Is that the whole backstory?
Yep. So the story was he was kind of like Apollo Creed's illegitimate son, who never was raised in all the riches and the every good thing that happened in Apollo Creed's life. And he was coming up through the ranks, and he was a young boxer, and he reached out to Rocky, and Rocky trained him and helped him become a champion. And now he's gone off on his own. And we had the last movie. Now we've got this third movie. So it really is in a continuation of the Rocky story, but with these new characters. And Michael B. Jordan has always just been a really good actor.
Yeah.
And he's truly made this Creed, just one of those great boxing heroes, not just for the boxing though. I mean, just for the character that he's brought to him and drama he's brought to him and the strength that he's brought to him, and all that's on display here. And then on top of it, Jordan directs the movie.
Ooh, all right. Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's good. So 3.5 waffles. I will say this. I want to go back to Operation Fortune again. Guy Ritchie. I think Guy Ritchie is one of the most underappreciated directors in the last 50 years. He's done some good movies. He's had opportunity, but I just think he's unsung. That guy, right? When he directs a movie, what did I watch here recently? Wrath of Man, which is another Jason Statham movie where his son is killed in an armored car heist, and he goes undercover. He's a gangster, and he goes undercover to try and root this thing. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing movie. But like I said, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, all these Guy Ritchie movies are so good. I have not seen one that I did not like. And so I'm really looking forward to this next one here to see what comes out of it, and I'm excited to see it. On the streams, what have you been watching besides Picard? I know you've been watching Picard.
Well, yes, Star Trek Picard, and then this week was the premiere. Dun, 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 dun. The Mandalorian.
Oh man,
he's back, baby.
Is it
season 3?
Is it on the stream now? Is it they dropped the first episode? Okay, all right.
They dropped the first episode on Disney Plus on Wednesday morning. Yes, I woke up Wednesday morning early to watch it because this is the way. And yes, we see that that Grogu, Baby Yoda, and the Mandalorian have been reteamed, and they have a mission. And I think I can tell you this. It's not giving anything away. The Mandalorian, he wants forgiveness. He wants to be made whole again because he removed his helmet.
Yeah.
And the only way
Yeah.
he can do that is traveling to the Mandalorian homeworld and bathing in the waters below the Mandalorian mines. But Mandalore has been destroyed, so that might be hard.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole lot
I
of
think he can
backstory.
handle
Yeah,
it.
there's a whole lot of backstory to that stuff.
Yep.
I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd, so he's actually from a sect called the Death Watch, who were fanatics, and they were never removed. Regular Mandalorians removed their helmets all the time, but this one group
Right.
they're like, no, you can never take your helmet off, and it was just like weird. So it's like this cult thing, and I thought, well, maybe he's out of it now, and you got Kara, what's her face? She's playing the other Mandalorian. And anyway, I'm excited to see it. I really am, because it is probably one of the best Star Wars pieces that has come out probably since Rogue One. I think Rogue One was the best thing since Return of the Jedi. And then, and then it's the Mandalorian. It's just such a good piece, but I'm looking forward to it. I started rewatching. I hate to say this again. I started rewatching The Expanse again.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know. One night my wife was not feeling good. She went to bed early. It was a Friday night or something. I had like 3 hours. And so I just started watching The Expanse again. Oh my, I'm into season 4 again. It's so amazing. If you haven't watched it, if you like space, if you like kind of the geopolitical warfare kind of wholehearted alien tech. I mean, it's amazing. So that's my, and you've never seen it, right? Or have you watched some of it?
I've not seen it. I've been a bad boy.
I can't remember the last time you actually watched anything that I recommended. I just can't even remember.
It's very hard. There's so many things that just keep flying by. I feel like I'm just holding on to a train that's running down the tracks.
Well, that's okay. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Folks, that is it. We will see you Monday. Rob Myers is going to be with us, and maybe Calvin Schreggy. We will see you then. Have a great one.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.